Hi guys, Willow here, and welcome back to Willow's Witchy Garden. Today is May 19th, and I'm going to take you on another garden tour in between rainstorms. It's been raining all the day yesterday and most of the morning, so finally I'm getting out here to do another video for you so that I can show you what's going on. Some of the things in the garden are looking a little rough, and it's because we've had so much rain. But come with me, I'm going to show you what's going on and give you an update. So let's start here and take a look at the garden. It has turned into an absolute jungle. Now, I do live in New Orleans, Louisiana, Zone 9B. We are very hot, humid, sticky. We might as well live in the swamp, and yeah, it's not always easy to grow everything here that I would like to grow. So I'm going to show you, for instance, some of the things that's been going on here. So let's take a look at these tomatoes, for instance. I'm having a lot of issues because of all the rain that we've been having. And so I'm not sure if this is blight. These are Determinate Tomatoes. They've put on all the fruit they're going to put on. I've had to put bags around my fruit because I had a rat or some rodent coming in here and munching on everything. So now I've got bags, organza bags on most of the fruit that I could get them around. But I'm still having a lot of issues with the poor plants. So I know that as soon as I harvest all the fruit off of these, I will be pulling these plants out. I'm not sure what's going on with this mortgage lifter. It has no blossoms. I have blossoms on my Paul Robeson. I have blossoms on the orange peach, and I have blossoms on the white tomasol. All of these are indeterminate, except no blossoms on the mortgage lifter. So I'm really starting to think maybe I should just pull that plant out as well and just stick a new determinate in its place. I get a little frustrated when I'm dealing with this. I know it's not easy to grow indeterminate plants here, especially these tomatoes, mainly because of our weather. The climate just is not conducive to most of these types of tomato plants. So looking at even the cherries are looking awful. Going to be pulling all of them. It's just not going to work this year. It's just too wet. We have had nothing but rain, and you know, between the animals munching, I know I just saw one over here that they had munched. You know, between that and just watching the poor plants just turn brown, it's frustrating. And then it gets worse, guys. Yes, I won't give up. However, look at this. This morning, my Sugar Rush peach peppers looked fantastic. I come back out here just now to do the video. They're full of blossoms, and they have 2 of them out of the 3 have wilted. I have no clue. We've had rain. We've had a lot of rain. It's not that hot today, but here I've got 2 of them that are wilting. Now I look over here and I have 2 jalapenos, and both of them are barely making it. I've lost the poblano that was in here. It just died. All the leaves fell off. It was done. I have lost peppers in this bed. I lost 2 murasaki and a lipstick pepper in this bed. Over here, I lost a Javarsky, I lost Ruia, and I lost a Yellow Monster. All dead. They just all wilted and died. So I think I have some form of a bacterial wilt that affects peppers or nightshade plants. Now, it's interesting because the tomatoes aren't wilting, it's only the peppers. The tomatoes are just turning brown and lots of leaves are dying on them. So I'm just going to start, to cut some of my losses and plant new things in these areas like flowers. I do use a lot of calendula. So I've planted calendula in that area. I've planted some calendula in this bed now. I'm just trying to make the best of it. It looks like this one's not doing so good too. This is another one of my orange bells, but it's just, I don't know. It just, one minute it looks good and the next minute it just wilts. So I'm not sure. I don't think it's the heat because it's just not that hot. Peppers generally are okay until it hits like 90, and it's not that today. So I don't know. So far, my courbace over here, away from the others, is looking pretty good. The other courbace I had in a bag, it's died. So I'm just not sure what's going on. I have my banana pepper over here. It still looks okay. This bed, knock on wood, so far looks okay. The poblano, a little curling on the leaves, but it's not completely wilted just yet. So I want to show you my eggplant. It's growing well. I see pollinators in here, but I get blossoms on it and then I get no fruit. So I don't think that they are getting pollinated. I may have to try hand pollination or something. I'm not sure about eggplant, but it's really frustrating. So I don't know what's going on. Now, as far as herbs go, I have some beautiful holy basil, also known as tulsi. That's doing great. Chamomile, growing well. So is my yarrow. I also have some calendula growing here in the little holes here along the raised bed. They're doing good. I'm loving the lettuce leaf basil. I've been harvesting a lot of that. It's doing great. I love cooking with it. Those leaves are so huge, you don't even have to use much of it. That's what I really like. But even my Thai basil is looking great. All of the basils that I have out here, even where those peppers have died, the basil looks fantastic. And I've been getting a nice harvest off of that. But yeah, I've got lots and lots of basil growing. So I'm going to be taking most of these beans out. They're just done producing, and I've already started planting new seeds in here. So hopefully I'll get another round of beans. I know they're pretty much determinate plants. They only give you so many beans and then they're done. And that's cool. I like to keep planting in succession, so that's what I've been doing. As you can see, sunflowers here do great. No complaints. The sunflowers in front of me right here are all volunteers. Those came from the bird seed because my bird feeder used to hang right here. But yeah, so sunflowers doing great. Now also, this Paul Robeson that you may have seen in my last video I did about the new trellising strings here, the hooks that I did on that double shepherd's hook. It's doing great. I am so excited about this one. So far, it's still green. It's beautiful. It has blossoms on it. I did use a double string on it because I did not cut off one of the suckers, and so it's got a double stem now. But it looks great, and so no complaints on that one. This is my 3 Shishito peppers, and they're looking pretty good. Lots of new growth. I'm very happy with these. I have harvested a few peppers off of them. I'm seeing lots of little tiny blossoms coming on, so I'm hoping to get more of those. I've got zinnias finally coming out. I'm so excited. I love the zinnias, and they also attract the pollinators, so always a double plus. As you can see though, some of these tomatoes have a lot of yellow on those bottom leaves. I honestly think it's because they're getting shaded out by these sunflowers. I thought they would be okay, but it's like the sun is there and they're getting some, but not on their lower leaves. And so I think that may be what's going on with those. But the sunflowers are so pretty, and I don't really want to have to pull those out. So I'm just going to let those tomatoes go. Let's see what else we can, get out of them. This one is a Jolene, and this is one of the hybrid determinates. And this thing is already 3 feet tall, and it's already getting some blossoms on it. So I've got more tomatoes growing in my seedling room. So as soon as I start pulling these out, I'll be ready to put more in. So this tomato is also a determinate. It is a Tachi. It's a Roma type tomato. I put it in a 7-gallon grow bag, and I also planted a Colima bean seed in here so I can get some beans as well while this tomato gets to full size. It's already got some of its blossoms too. And as we know, determinate tomatoes are only going to give us so many tomatoes, and then they're done. But that's why I keep planting in succession. I'm also wanting to show you these wonderful elephant garlic. I've got them in a 10-gallon grow bag. It's the first time I've ever grown elephant garlic. I got the starts from Haas Tools, and they gave me extra beyond what the number was supposed to be, so I've planted them everywhere. But they're doing really good. Now, I even have one of them growing in here in this bin, and just look at the stalks on those things. They're so huge. And it's in here with another Tachi. So, I try to use the space as best I can. And so you got a tomato, you've got one elephant garlic here. In this little bag here, this is a 7-gallon grow bag, I have planted a Sweetheart cherry tomato and 2 roulette heatless habaneros. And they just got planted, I think, 2 days ago. So they're doing pretty good for right now. We'll see how they grow. But look at all this volunteer borage. I'm loving it, and obviously so are the pollinators. I've got wasps down here. I've got all kinds of wonderful pollinators coming in the garden, and I always say the wasps won't hurt you if you don't bother them. So I moved my calendula that I had in grow bags that was sitting here, and I moved them over to the steps. I'm hoping that maybe they'll look a little better. They were looking a little rough, so I'm trying to give them some extra care. I do have calendula growing here in the raised bed next to the tomatoes. A few of my okra finally came up. My poor Roselle is getting knocked over, but I've got burgundy okra, I've got Eagle Pass, and then there's another one. So I've got 3 different kinds of okra in here, and I'm hoping that I get something out of it. But look at my kale is still doing great. This is Scarlet Kale, and so it's still doing well. But my poor tomatoes, it makes me sad that I've got so many yellow leaves on them. The top looks great. Ooh, look at that. We already have some tomatoes. I hope you can see that. Little tomatoes on one of the Bella Rosas. So over here, I have an orange bell pepper, and it's still looking good. I also have a regular jalapeno. I have this little gypsy sweet pepper. They're still looking pretty good. A little yellow leaf there, but for the most part, I'm still getting peppers on it, and I don't see any wilting. So that's a good sign that at least the peppers over here are doing well. Here is another one of the Bella Rosa tomatoes, and it's got, blossoms on it already too. So overall, I'm not, dissatisfied at all with the hybrid tomatoes that I have planted. They're looking really good. I'm hoping that the fruit tastes as good as the plants look. So my echinacea is starting to open up. I'm so excited about echinacea. I love these flowers. And I've got several of them starting. Just loving this. There's those, and here's some right there. So yeah, several of my echinacea are already opening up. I'm going to have lots of flowers this year, even more than last. So I'm really excited about that. We still got lots of this kale over here. It's called the Russian Red or Ragged Jack. So it's still going strong. I'm going to have to cut that back again. I've got more Scarlet Kale down here in a tub. And today I just planted my Golden Jenny Cantaloupe in here. The other ones just were not looking good. So those were my backup plants. And I put a couple over here too, next to some Armenian cucumbers. Hopefully they don't mind sharing that bin. I got a surprise this morning. I found another cucumber. This is on one of my muncher plants, so I'm happy about that. I've got a couple of these miniature whites that are just now sprouting. The dark cucumbers just were not producing very well. They're weird shaped. Got another one here that seems to be growing normal. This one just got ate up. Probably gonna pull that out. It got ate up by snails and slugs. So yeah, I've got to take care of these cucumbers over here. I've got some new ones coming in here as well. These are Be It Alpha cucumbers that I've planted a little bit ago. But yeah, I've got some leaf miner damage going on. Yep, time to spray again. But yeah, overall, I just got to keep plugging away, and it's so hard to keep spraying when you have so much rain, just washing it off constantly. No garden tour is complete without the garden cat. This is one of the local strays, and he hangs out here most of the time, and I feed him breakfast and dinner, and he just, lays around. He doesn't really get into anything. Oh, Henry, you're a pretty good kitty. But I wanted to bring you over here and show you where I did put the calendula, and now I've got a lot more open blossoms today. I think they kind of like it up here. So this is where they will stay. I think I can give them a lot more attention over here. So yeah, I think they'll do better here. I've still got my oregano down here. This is blue spice basil. I just harvested a bunch of that. And look at this gorgeous lemon cypress. And it actually smells like lemon. It is so nice. I've got my variegated lemon thyme here. Some motherwort and feverfew. So, yep, and my huge aloe. I'm going to have to trim this up too. This is what happens when you just have too much rain. It's really hurting all the plants out here. So I'm taking you over here now onto the patio area, and as you can see, my beautiful canna lilies have bloomed so much. But the rain has been knocking off the flowers, and it makes me so sad. They're so beautiful, and then the rain takes them. But what are you gonna do, right? And look at the mango. It has more new growth on it. This thing is going to be massive by the end of the summer. All of my plants are doing really well. I look like it looks like a jungle over here, like a little rainforest. I love it. My jasmine still has some blossoms on it. Still smells great. But once again, the rain has been knocking off everything. So it's been difficult lately. So I have to show you this Datura. I did not show this in the last video. This one has grown back after that hard freeze. It is now well over the 6-foot tall fence. I'm going to have to cut out all the dead wood that's in there, but it's huge, but something is eating it. So I'm going to have to spray that plant too. it's just so frustrating. I can't keep the spray of neem oil or BT on anything because all this rain just keeps washing it off. I even made a really nasty spray for the tomatoes to keep the rodents off, and it washes that off too. And that's got hot sauce in it and some rosemary oil. And so, yeah, it's really difficult to keep anything on the plants to deter the pests. And pests don't seem to mind the wet weather. In fact, they probably enjoy it because they know everything gets washed off. But just show you down here what's going on. Got some more strawberries coming on. Lots of blossoms. I did get lots of my toothache plant potted up. So now I've got several pots of that as well. I may plant some of that in the garden. I haven't tried that yet. I've just been planting in the pots. I'm doing an experiment. This is the rough side of the house. I need to weed whack over here or kill off a lot of this weeds. But this is a loofah that I've planted in this concrete block. And I'm just using it to guide it up on this upside down tomato cage. And then I'm going to plan on putting up a different trellis that it'll continue on to. But for now, that was what I had, so I wanted to get it up off the ground. And these are my moonflowers, and I did the same thing. I just did an upside down tomato cage, but I plan on putting a trellis against this wall of the house so it'll have something to trellis up on. But they're doing really, really well. Lots of new growth coming on pretty much every day. So I also put my fig tree in a much larger pot. This is a 7-gallon grow bag. It has grown so much. I'm so happy with this plant. So grateful for my friend who gave it to me. Never would have thought to even start growing a fig tree, but this is doing really, really well. So excited about that. I've got these. Oh, look at that. More growth on this. This is a grapefruit plant that I planted from seeds. It's just an organic grapefruit that I got at the grocery store. Ouch and oh yes. These things do have spikes, by the way. Grapefruit trees are spiky. My Siempre Viva is doing really well. My African Nunum basil is doing great. I've been harvesting off of that as well recently. Got mint over here and bee balm and several rosemary plants, and of course my lemon balm and my horehound. And last but not least, I want to show you one of the racks that I have out here on the patio. I've got my catnip on top to keep it away from the cats, along with some dragon fruit babies. Lots of lemon basil and more catnip on that second shelf. Then we get into the interesting things. A friend of mine gave me some tobacco plants that I'm going to be planting because I like to use tobacco in religious, practices. Also, I have Valerian, and it's doing really nice. I, for the longest time, didn't know if I was ever going to get a Valerian plant to come out of the seeds, but it did. It managed to grow. I've got some more Tulsi getting a little bit bigger before I put it in the garden. Down here, I've got sweet mace, which is also known as a Mexican marigold, and St. John's wort, just a little bit growing there, and blue hyssop. I have a little baby Siempre Viva that I found in one of these pots that I thought I had potted up everything, but I missed that one. I've got one of my Murasaki purple peppers getting bigger so I can put that into a big grow bag. And of course some basil and some more kale. Another Siempre Viva down here and some basil. This tomato, I did not plan on this. I found it as a volunteer alongside the house when I was planting my moonflowers. So I've got that. I've got a couple other little starts here. And this one's not looking so great. So that one probably will get pulled. But, you know, I try to grow whatever I can here. Sometimes the weather just does not work out. But I do the best that I can. Well, I hope you enjoyed the garden tour today for May 19th. I'll do another one in a couple of weeks. But hopefully I'll have some nicer things to show you. But I don't want to hide from you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes living in my climate, even though it's warm and I do have a long growing season, you have to understand that there are still challenges, and too much rain can kill your plants. I do believe that the bacterial wilt came in during that last flood a couple of weeks ago, got into the soil. That was the lowest area of the yard, and I think that might be what's taking out my peppers. So I do what I can do, right? And I will continue to grow new things, plant more seeds, grow new plants, try different things in those areas. I just won't put nightshade plants in there because that could be a nightmare, and I don't want to do that again. I don't like loss, but I live with it because I know it's part of life. It's part of gardening. Not everything is beautiful and green and pristine like you might see on a lot of places. For me, I live in an urban setting and I do the best I can with what I've got. So yes, I live in Zone 9B in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I deal with lots of weather. And I may not have to deal with the frost and the cold all the time, though I had it in February of this year. The majority of the year I can grow year round. So hopefully you enjoyed what I showed you. Maybe you learned something from it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy what I put out for content, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Don't forget to leave me comments because I like to know what you think. I can take criticism. I grow from that. I learn what you like, what you didn't like. Maybe you've got some ideas and suggestions for me. I open up to all suggestions. I love to hear information. It helps me grow as a gardener and a person. So I'm open for all of your comments. Now, don't forget you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram as well. I will put that in the description below, all those links. You can also check me out at Willow Mechant Divine Magic if you're so called to do so. That is my spiritual channel. As you probably know, I'm a New Orleans psychic medium. I'm just gardening because I love it and I love to share it with all of you. Yes, I'm an urban gardener who grows a garden in a rental home, and it's doing okay. So if you want to leave me a comment and give me your suggestions, I do welcome that. And until next time, stay healthy and be blessed.